So that was pretty much what we had to say about which system of the new systems we're excited for. Now I want to talk about kind of either things I noticed in general about this year's conference, or things that I've been noticing online for people like talking about and stuff that either I'm confused with or kind of find interesting or whatever. Number one, this year seemed to be a big push for second screen stuff, right? A lot of tablet and smartphone apps and things like that, smart glass, and things like that are going to help, add something to the game. Like people are going to come in with different systems and their tablets and stuff and help you out or do whatever. You had that in like Need for Speed, The Division, Watch Dogs to an extent, things like that. So games are trying to use this in an interesting and cool way. The interesting about the fact that it was mentioned so much this conference was that they never really mentioned it about the Wii U, which is the system made for second screen, and it's already getting like, oh man, I really cannot believe how the Wii U is kind of.
Just to mention, someone told me that we'll watch a Nintendo conference at E3 and like.
We'll talk about Nintendo. You want to go that now?
No, I mean, did they have?
They didn't have a conference. They had a video.
A press junket.
They had a video and they had a press thing that they did and showed some stuff.
All right, then.
Do you want to go there? Is that where you want to go?
That's my question I had.
Because I
thought they had nothing to present at E3.
They had some stuff.
They
yeah.
did a lot.
They had some stuff. So anyways. I saw what you wrote. But anyways.
And it was true.
Okay, the other thing was the evolution of online play. Right? I saw, and a lot of people have mentioned this actually, it's kind of the Journey influence, which is a game I did beat on the PlayStation 4, thank you very much. Then again,
you beat it on the PS4?
Or on PlayStation 3, sorry. Freudian slip. PlayStation 3. I would play it again on PlayStation 4. I would play Journey again right now. The game Journey.
It's called Journey.
Not Steve Perry. The game Journey.
Oh, so you see Journey, I'm just thinking Steve Perry.
No, the game Journey with the sand and the hooded people and the asynchronous multiplayer thing where people would just join you and you have no idea who they are or that they're even people really until the end when they tell you you've played with these people and you didn't even know they were there.
And you didn't know who's Brian now?
Oh, it's like a desert?
You're like in a desert. You don't know this game at all.
That's
Is there a wheel in this guy?
It's the guys that did Flower and stuff. It's that game company, I believe, is the company.
Flower?
No, there's a wheel.
Again!
There's a.
I forget that you guys don't. I mean, just because you don't play.
And then after you
play with at least download.
So after
you
play with them, you go your separate ways.
But anyways, what I'm talking about is the multiplayer in there, where people just kind of drop in, drop out. You didn't like sit in a lobby and connect with people. You didn't do any of that. It was all just kind of part of the game, and it was interesting, and everybody loved it.
Should have been gone.
And now we're seeing that a lot in games all over the place. You have like we mentioned, The Crew is a driving game, but you can be with a team of people, and then you're driving around, and oh look, there's another team of people. The way The Division was working was like, oh, we're walking around, and then look there's these other people here, and all over the place you're getting this. So I find it really cool actually that now we're getting different, uses of multiplayer. It's not just the same wait in a lobby or go through matchmaking and play each other, or it doesn't only have to be linking up with your friends and playing co-op like that. You
can play with complete strangers on the internet, and they don't have to tell you whether or not they're sex offenders or not.
I like to think positively on this. I don't think it's going to be like that.
No,
I want to.
Sex offenders probably are great first-person shooters.
You know what? You couldn't talk to each other in Journey. I guess maybe that's part of it too. Maybe some of those people were sex offenders I played with, but I don't know because I don't know who they are. But it was interesting that
it's all anonymous. Like
the
bathhouses kit visits
until the end, and then in the credits they tell you who you played with. So I'm sure that's not how these new games are going to be. I'm sure we'll know who the people are we're playing with that enter the game. I'm sure their little screen name thing will appear above their heads or cars or whatever the game is.
Mentioning that, I just think as the only person who uses GameFly has not been mentioned a lot during this DRM Expo and shit like that.
I think it's been mentioned, but you're right, it's not a lot.
No one really focuses on like them.
You know why though? Because the industry, the people at E3, aren't people that use GameFly because they get the games. So they're not really.
They're all thinking.
I know what you're saying. I've heard it mentioned
though.
I've heard it mentioned.
Okay.
So it's not like it's gone completely silent. Like nobody's talking about it. So.
Yeah. It's a whole door that they're just closing.
Possibly.
But I mean, to be fair, they they buy the games purposefully to give them to other people. So it's not like you're losing sales, I think. I mean, I guess maybe you think you're losing some
We'll see
sales,
what
but I mean,
happens
at least I only use GameFly for shitty games and stuff. Like, I'll buy games that I like, but when I see like Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper, I'm like,
Yeah, that's supposed to be a sweet game.
you own it, don't you?
I do. Wait. I own it twice. I own it on 360 and PC.
Something I found funny about that is like apparently so they're gonna kill GameFly in a sense, right?
Well, yeah,
Xbox is.
Maybe eventually down the road.
Maybe
Yeah,
eventually.
like-
I'm just saying,
So
like,
I mean, they didn't kill Netflix. Movies are like
Movies don't have to
GameFly
come
is
to
the
the internet
game version
when you
of
buy a
Netflix.
movie.
Yeah, movies.
Well,
are
no,
that is
the-
true. No,
Yeah.
I get what he's saying. He's just saying that like Netflix exists, and it's not like it's the movie industry is trying to kill Netflix because they're not getting enough money.
Netflix also
Yeah,
pays them a ton of
even-
money to put their movies
yeah.
on it. So,
So does
Anyways.
GameFly have to shell out a shit ton of money to?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, unfortunately.
Nobody does.
So, next thing I noticed at the conference this year is kind of more than usual indie games. Kind of a big deal. I heard a lot of talk about Octodad and Rain and Contrast and Transistor and
Like a resistor?
No, Transistor is the guys who did Bastion, the new game from them. The, isometric top-down thing. It's going to be PlayStation 4 exclusive at first, and then eventually come.
Gets confused at my 311 reference.
Yeah, I know. I got it.
I know you got
reference.
it.
Because I think of it every time I hear the name of the game. Okay, so I am aware that there is a 311 reference to be made. So, anyways,
Amber
But yeah.
is the color of my energy.
a lot of talk about these games at
that's
the
not
conference
true.
this year, and maybe it's. What? Anyways, I think it's
I
great.
love kid stuff.
I think it's great because we've said before, whenever we've talked about this stuff, usually we end up with the feeling of we're looking for something new, right? God damn it.
Don't worry, we didn't have to
Yeah,
hear.
quality silence. But we've always said we're looking for something new, and we said
Who
that
puts a
really,
space between cool and cool?
really indie games is where the innovation is happening, like where they're taking a lot of risks and doing interesting
I'm
stuff.
not Eiffel Towering, Brandon.
Where
Well, I
they're
mean,
doing
I'll put
interesting
Coolio.
stuff.
But anyway.
Hey,
Oh, like-
are we listening?
Sorry, yeah.
They're doing
I'm
interesting stuff in
pretending.
indie.
I'm
and
watching you.
It's nice to see them get so much,
I have my
love
eye
and
on you.
promotion and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. So that's kind of one thing I noticed.
No.
So
Indie games have been doing like we talked.
we
The
talk about
innovation,
it all the time.
the innovation is coming from the indie games. You get your Ubisoft and stuff like that. Maybe they'll shoot something that's neat every once in a while.
Ubisoft is doing a lot
Ubisoft
of
does a
innovation
lot
right
more.
now.
Yeah,
Right
Ubisoft
now.
has a lot more going for it than like your EA or stuff like that, where they just go.
EA is getting to that point right now. You can tell that they're starting to innovate on some stuff.
But a lot of the main publishers are just like, here's something we know you'll buy. Have it. They'll repackage it, they'll dress it up, they'll give it something like a new name, they'll give a guy a goatee or some shit like that. They'll change the color scheme, but it's the same shit we've been playing for the last 7 years, this gen. And they'll be like, hey, 10 million people bought this game. Here it is in space. Here it is in neon.
or you're,
There's not a whole lot of going on in the big industry stuff.
yeah, or Gun Shooter 12 or whatever, game
Or
we're playing,
here's the 13th sequel, but don't worry, it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, not Call of Duty 14 or whatever. It is.
Yeah. So, yeah. But anyways, another thing that was mentioned a lot at E3 this year was the cloud. Right? We got
God
a lot
damn
of
it, the
mention
cloud.
of the cloud. The cloud is a
cloud.
big thing now. I mean, it's mostly Xbox. I think Xbox One is really.
Well,
pushing it.
everyone's using the cloud though. That's not like
No, yes, I know,
Cloud
because
is-
there's Gaikai and stuff on PlayStation 4. There's all that garbage.
I don't know what that is
Whatever.
either.
Nothing against cloud, but that's the service that they're going to use to be able to stream PS3 games
Okay.
and all that kind of stuff. And there is going to be cloud stuff in PlayStation 4. It's not going to not be against it. And the PC will use cloud stuff. Everything will use the cloud.
no, the cloud is the next big
Do you have
thing.
to pay
I just thought it was
for
interesting. Sometimes you have to pay for space.
Sometimes you have to pay.
But
for
these
something.
are mostly uses like
What are
in-game.
sometimes?
Like no, this is mostly like them.
If you don't use it.
they're-
If they don't force you to use it.
Yeah.
So
No,
wait,
This
it's
is
free or
okay,
it's
okay.
not free?
This is
Yes.
you're thinking of it in terms of what we've known the cloud to be before, which is more of get
Pay-
some online
pay for online space.
Yeah. This isn't what they're talking about when they talk about games using the cloud. Games using the cloud is more like, hey, the AI and the textures and the distance or whatever in this game. yeah, we don't want to waste the processing power of the systems and make the games look a little less cool than they do. We're gonna shoot that out to the cloud, let the cloud process that shit, and send it back to your game. So it's enhancing the game. Basically, if eventually cloud gaming becomes the thing, and that's all you need is cloud gaming, you would never need new systems, which is funny because you are not the one.
Oh, wow, that is.
It is not the system doing the computing power. It's something else. You could play PlayStation 4 quality games on your iPhone. You could anything you wanted because it'd all be done on the cloud and it would just be streaming it through the internet to you. That's kind of where people see a lot of stuff going.
Huh.
It's the event.
It
So,
is.
Yeah.
anyways,
That is the vent. Clever.
all right. So I didn't really want to mention the cloud that much. And then the next thing I want to mention, which is something I've mentioned before on this show. Again, there's a lot of things we usually mention, but just little new things added. Oculus Rift was at the convention, and from what I heard, I know because I think it looks so awesome.
No, it is totally sweet.
That seems like the future.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the future.
I guess now they have a sort of mostly HD version. So, because before it was only like standard def graphics, even though it was still amazing.
Oh, you know what?
And
Yeah.
so they had
fuck it,
this,
I don't
like-
care what the age. I'll settle for a workable home version of Oculus
But
Rift.
they aren't going to release it until it's done and has good quality and stuff. So
That's
now they're a step forward, and they showed off this game that was done by the EVE Online guys. It was some sort of space shooter, like Space Commander type, space
Right.
pilot thing. But no, yeah, that seems like okay, just a space
Yeah.
piloting game. I guess that could be cool with an Oculus Rift. But from what I've heard, playing this game with an Oculus Rift was like some sort of revelation on like these games because it was like they said, there are a lot of things in space, ship shooter things like that where it's like, oh, it's the same stuff a lot. Like, oh, here comes a guy. I'm trying to shoot him. Oh, he got by me, and he just goes shooting by, and then you go, all right, hit the jets, turn around, and try to shoot him again. It's just the same stuff over and over again. When this happens in this game, it is guys coming, he's gonna go by you, and you go and watch him, and then you're looking behind you to see if there's people behind you because it's an Oculus Rift. Your view is dependent on where
So
you're
is
turning.
there a little screen so you could see? Obviously.
Do you know?
It's virtual reality.
Never
We've
looked
talked
at it.
about it before.
Oh, no, it's
Never actually saw the actual design.
We've talked about it before. It's a virtual
We have.
reality headset.
But you know what we've talked about? I think we've never actually explained what it is.
Maybe
It
we can
is-
explain it good enough.
It
to
is
say.
a headset. They have apparently fixed the issue because a lot of problems with the
Couldn't it
universe-
just come to a point where it just has the headphones and
Yeah,
it does have
and
headphones.
you don't need a TV at all.
That's what it is.
And you don't need
This is what it is.
That's what it is.
Why do you need TV then?
Well, you don't, I guess. But no,
You're not gonna be able to watch TV on your Oculus
no,
Rift,
but
I don't think.
that's the thing because
it's
before
for gaming.
before it was like the problem with the goggles and stuff was having something that's inherently in front of your face, your eye, your vision wants like there is something in front of your face. They always had a problem with goggles because it would disorientate you because even though there's like you can see distance, it's there.
Yeah.
But Oculus Rift apparently is so clear
It's supposed to be
that it will actually trick your brain into thinking
every time
that you're
someone.
thinking. And now that they have head tracking, which was like a thing
Yeah,
they had been working for a lot, when you look up, it's not like you're just looking up the screen. Your character model thing, your vision will look around with you.
Like
Look.
you'll actually go up.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
How do you look behind you? Do you actually
Okay,
have to
you
turn
turn
around?
around.
When you first hear about this stuff, it just sounds like, oh, I remember when they tried virtual reality. It didn't work so great. And it was
Back
kind
in the
of
Sega
weird.
days.
Yeah, it was
Dude.
all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people are always skeptical of it, but every time I see a video online or a TV show where they get to try it or whatever, every time they try it, it seems like anyone who was skeptical or anyone that was like, yeah, it looks cool and they're not that into it, every time someone tries it, they always come back talking about how it's like the greatest thing and that they can't wait for it to come out and it's the future of everything and like
is.
the excitement that everyone has after they try it makes
can I
me
just-
like, oh man, I want
Can I
this.
just point out an antique from the Sega days? Of there was this vest.
The actual.
Where? Yeah, actually, like every time you got hit in like Mortal Kombat, you feel that hit. That was the rumble back then.
Yeah.
And you wore a vest.
It was a giant
That's
rumble pack.
so hilarious.
Also,
to me.
Brandon, I don't know, maybe you've probably have seen the Doom 3 tech demo they did with the head tracking Oculus Rift sort of
I know they were working on that.
So I watched a video of a guy who goes around like an area in Doom 3, and you know what? You should find that. Watch it
I'll
yourself.
try to find
Then
that
link it
video.
here with my crazy video magic.
Oh Jesus! You're just trying to make work for me today,
Yeah,
aren't
I
you?
know, but it's totally a sweet video. And it's like this Indian guy who and he shows how the control, because he's trying to do it controller free. And he shows how you can pick up objects with like tracking of the hand.
So these are like gloves and stuff too, added to.
I don't believe he's wearing gloves. I think I
Oh.
can't remember.
Like, so he's using a Kinect maybe.
But it's visual tracking of the hand. And no, actually, I think he was wearing a glove. Where he we would pick up object and he could twist it in real time, and then there was like a moving system.
This kind of sounds familiar. I might have seen part of this.
Where he could have he stepped forward and that would trigger the game to move forward and stuff like that.
Yeah, there is that because there's those.
He did a thing where he just kind of wandered around like an environment in Doom 3.
There's
so it wasn't the prettiest thing.
There's
but
the
he showed,
Kickstarter.
He showed like crouching and like looking up and like firing.
Okay. There's that Kickstarter for that treadmill thing that goes with the Oculus Rift that lets you run.
There's a treadmill thing.
Check it out. It's a like.
Is that located?
It has like a bar around you.
URL?
Oh Jesus! It has like a
you
bar.
You can use captions. It's totally cool.
It has like a bar around you, so you're not like falling over or anything in it because you are running in place.
Yeah.
So it could be weird balance. But anyways,
real
it's
quick,
something they're working
you
on.
guys can continue, but real quick, smoke bomb. Give me another thing you got to work on.
So
Make a smoke bomb.
the funny thing is, the next thing I wanted to mention is something that Kit might have something to say about.
Well, we'll never know.
But anyways,
Because, continue.
you know what? Looking at the rest of this list, there's a lot of stuff that Kit might have something to say with. Okay, well, let's talk about.
Let's talk about Kit's final word to us.
Let's talk
Continue.
about exclusives, right?
Hi.
There's a lot of question marks this year based on press conferences and things about what is exclusive. You'd seen online what people talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 being a PlayStation 4 exclusive. And
But they were wrong because Square doesn't have enough money to make it exclusive.
And a lot of people are like, oh man, I want to play Witcher 3, I want an Xbox One. Witcher 3 is not an Xbox One exclusive.
It's funny when you say exclusive when these, well, at least Witcher.
It's just
in the
because
sense of
there's
Witcher,
other
that's
things shown.
everybody knows Witcher is a PC.
I think for the most part, but you do get those people out there, those ignorant people that go, hey, this game looks awesome.
Hey, ignorant people, Witcher is a PC game.
And it's not necessarily PC as much. I mean, most of these games will be on PC. It's not that sort of thing, because even Titanfall is an exclusive to Xbox or whatever, right? But it's also on PC. It's not just Xbox. Xbox 360.
Hold on, let me use my resurrection powers. Like it.
So
And
anyway,
I hope you added smoke bombs.
He's not going to. Maybe a lightning bolt?
No, I still have the smoke from that one video.
Sweet.
So anyway.
You can add a big poof for all I care.
You know, there's
Like,
no
hey,
bigger
here's a
poof.
big poof coming back in the
Here's a
side
big
of the
poof. It's Kit coming.
I'm fine with that. We're fine with that. If you do that, I'll fucking.
What a poof!
I will shake your hand. Anyway, where were we again?
I'm fine with that. That was the best part.
I'm fine with that. Here comes a big poof. Kit Coleman calls back. Gold it.
Wow.
If he puts in a big, just the word poof, and I'm there. I don't care. I really don't.
I'm sorry, the show's broken.
Yeah, that's fine. It's full of fun.
So anyways, there's a lot of confusion over exclusives, and really the overall thing to say is there isn't a lot that's exclusive anymore.
No.
Unless it's a Microsoft Studios game
Or
or,
Sony.
a Sony Studios game, it's not exclusive.
No, and that's
So-
true.
Or
It's-
Nintendo.
Or
So,
Nintendo, I guess that's.
throw it in there. Which leads to the next thing. Nintendo was at this conference. They didn't have a press conference, but they were at the convention. And
Nintendo was there.
They had this announcement video that they released
I
online.
happened to be there.
They supposedly had these ability to play it at Best Buys and stuff. I never really looked into it, but anyways, they did have a presence. They showed off, new Super Smash Brothers, new Mario, stuff like that. The stuff you expect them to show off. But the weird thing that I got out of this year's thing was everyone was kind of saying that Nintendo had this great convention presence and like, oh man, they announced so many awesome things and they did so good and like
Did they?
Nintendo's so awesome and I don't get it at all. I watched the Nintendo stuff and I found it depressing at how bad they were doing. Like you show me a new Smash Brothers game, that's fine, but you also showed me that the new Smash Brothers game doesn't just come out for Wii U. It comes out for
there's a new Smash Brothers game?
and there's a 3DS version of this game, or at least a 3DS Smash Brothers. I have a 3DS, and the 3DS is awesome. So again, why do I need a Wii U? I can play all
How
this
much
stuff
is
on
a
my
Wii U?
3DS.
$250.
$349 for the
Really?
for the one with the hard drive. So
Wait,
how
for
much-
a hard drive?
for the one with the hard drive.
You know,
it's
Kit
$2.
doesn't download
Is that
stuff.
like an internal memory card?
It's $300 if you get the one without a hard drive.
Oh wow, $50 for a hard drive.
Yeah. So
I'm
anyways,
cool with this.
at least that's what I thought. I could be wrong.
I kind of just like to
People
get
out there
it just
can yell
to
at me.
play fucking Smash Brothers tournaments.
Get a 3DS and you can play Smash Brothers when it comes out.
I have a 3DS.
Okay, well then
Wii U.
get Super Smash Brothers.
With
When it comes
you
out.
guys.
I have a 3DS. We can play Super Smash Brothers. 3DS is connected to the internet.
I
I'll look at
care.
Josh now.
I don't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. So we're gonna continue to play Super
But
Super
finally,
Mario.
finally, the Wii U trainer is
I'm
a
just
playable
saying-
character.
But I'm just saying, why do you think people were so wow? I don't know. Why do you think people were so like thinking Nintendo did so good? Because I didn't get that at all. I
Because
thought
they didn't.
they seemed behind and they seemed like.
Well, no, it's no.
Is it the desperation for people for them to announce anything on the
No,
Wii U?
no, no, no,
Like
I
the
got
fact
it.
that they did announce stuff.
I'm gonna blow your mind,
Okay.
Kit's mind,
Nostalgia
and
What
our
is
viewers.
It? What is it?
It's the Special Olympics mentality. Nintendo didn't like shit all over themselves, and they managed to not flail around like a retard, and everyone's really proud of them. That's it. Like
I guess here's my thing. Okay, mostly.
Although what I'm
mostly
saying
games-
is, they didn't just fucking drool on
I know
themselves.
what you're saying. I know what you're saying. They,
I mean, nobody really expects much out of Nintendo anymore.
They didn't
And
fuck
they
up
didn't
like
fuck it
Microsoft
up.
did.
They did do Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microsoft went full retard, and you
But-
never go full retard.
Okay, but they. Here's my complaint.
Look
about
at
that.
Rosie O'Donnell in what was that movie?
They didn't show me enough to
The
want a
other
Wii
sister.
U.
The other sister.
Yes. They didn't show me enough
She
to want
didn't
a
win an
Wii U.
award.
Even as a second system, they didn't show me enough to want a Wii U. Like I said, I can get a lot of these same experiences they were showing on a 3DS, and I have a 3DS, and
Hey.
I like the 3DS. So I don't. If I want to play a Mario game, I can play Super Mario World on my 3DS. I can, I can play Super Mario 3DS, whatever it's called. Super
I
Mario
never
2.
played Super Mario Galaxy.
wanna
I'm
play-
pretty sure I'll get that cheap.
If I want to play Zelda, I can play the Wind Waker HD remake, or I can play the new Link to the Past thing. That
Well, you're-
they
or
named
the
it too,
Skyward
and I can't
Sword.
remember what it is.
I think you're giving a
3DS?
little bit more.
3DS? I wasn't listening to what you're saying.
I think you're giving a little bit more stuff to the fact
You
that
still got your Wii, don't you?
Well, my mom's Wii is still there, but it just is a dust collector. It doesn't do anything.
I think you're giving a little bit more stuff to just Nintendo, and their games don't really change that
I guess.
much.
And
Well,
maybe,
I think Nintendo, we just feel should just become a software company.
yeah,
Well, no,
that is
that's-
it exactly.
That is it exactly. But I think Nintendo has this niche where they're not making a game like right now they're pretending that they're making a game console and they're competing.
Me and the Wii U.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
The Wii U is
no, they
next
are
gen-
competing with
Well-
last generation. That's the problem.
Well, that's the thing. They're like I think in their mindset
They came out with the next generation before they came out of the next generation.
I think in their mindset they feel like they're competing with the big boys, Sony, Microsoft, but they're like and everyone
no,
else.
I don't think they are trying to compete with those.
But no, and I think that's like they're pretending they are, but actuality, I think they found what they've always wanted to do, and that's just make like a fun entertainment, like the Wii U. Like since the Wii, Nintendo's been more of a gimmicky, fun
Yeah.
entertainment thing. They're not. I don't
Okay.
think they're trying to do the
Party
game.
games.
I
Party
get that.
games.
They're not doing the game console thing anymore. They're not trying to compete. I think they found their niche of Nintendo Entertainment.
I
software.
get-
they
I
found
get
their
that, yeah.
entertainment.
I get that. I get that. But
They're like
here's my problem.
They're a high scale. You know those games you can buy at Walmart for $20 that like plug into your TV and shoot ducks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing, but on a high scale of it.
But here's the problem with that, though. You just said that's $10. A Wii U with a hard drive is what, $50 less than a PlayStation
Unfortunately,
4?
they're still charging.
It's way too expensive to do that.
Yeah.
So if they are that is fine. But you make it cheap enough where you're not blowing a bunch of money just to play a handful of games.
If in the next,
Make
You
it-
also have the whole library of Nintendo games you can actually download from the store, though.
you know, in the next iteration, if they just said, "Hey, third-party developers, sorry, we're not doing this anymore," and they cut down the price by significant, they just developed for their own stuff, and they made it weight like $100 system, like
like the
next.
Ouya?
Yeah, no,
Which
it-
got kicked out
if
of
the-
E3.
well, they had a parking lot show. That they called- did you hear about that? They had a show across the E3 convention center. They did a show in the parking lot. They were gonna do it for free. E3 parked a truck in front of them, and then on the sides of the truck, Ouya put up banners next to the truck and
Wait.
said, "Hey, we're doing a show right here." And then E3 called the cops on them and tried
Yeah,
to
I
get
know
them.
E3 called the
Is
cops
Ouya
out.
the Android?
It's the Android
Yes.
system.
So they're just gonna do a free show across the street, and then E3 tried to fuck them, and then there was a stupid
funny
pissy
stuff.
match.
Can I just say, my major problem with Wii is they have not released Tetris Attack on their little
That is
thing
unfortunate.
there. Because I love that fucking game, and
But
I
yeah,
would
no,
take any of you
I think-
assholes in that game.
I think if Nintendo, McCollum's champion.
This isn't columns, bitch.
It's live.
This is Tetris Attack.
Shut up and play your Candy Crush. All right.
Oh,
so
anyway, I'm saying if Nintendo got rid of third party and just went straight Nintendo, went way cheaper, and just tried to develop their like what they're doing, their fun like gimmicky sort of console stuff, I think that's what they need to evolve to because they're not really doing
Me
good
too.
as a giant developer.
Either you make a super cheap console that's just there for the handful of games
Yeah.
you want to play, or you just stop making systems and
Or
make,
just do what
make
Sega
games
did.
for the do what
Yeah.
Sega did and start making your games for Sony.
And it's not to
Microsoft
say do what
consoles.
Sega did because Sega has not done really.
Well,
anything
Nintendo
good
still
since.
has.
They
the
have,
quality
they, have a good,
design.
they have a good quality game every once in a while, but Sega when they went straight developer
And hey, the new Sonic looks awesome.
and then there's
Which is a Wii.
Something I find
and
funny.
3DS though. But again, 3DS. I can play it on 3DS.
Something I find funny, which is almost what we're saying, is like, hey, Nintendo, take a side. Almost. Is it?
No,
No,
I think
no,
we're just
I
saying.
just do one or the other. You think they're gonna support both them? Like,
Yes.
No, I think we're saying just full on.
Well, no,
Nintendo Japanese.
But no, we're
They're
getting-
gonna take it on
we're-
their side.
I-
Just
obvious-
admit what you are is what we're saying.
No,
Yeah.
we're saying, and nowadays you can't really get exclusives unless you're
That
'Cause-
company.
in that company because
Like
everything's
Miyamoto
constant.
makes fantastic games.
Well, no, but
Yes, we
but
all agree with that.
And-
hold on.
it's
To
just-
get
yeah.
exclusive rights, someone would have to be like, hey, like, here's a bucket of endless money. Nintendo, please only give us games. Nobody has that kind of money. That's the problem.
No, don't get me wrong. I was actually just thinking Miyamoto makes fantastic.
'Cause look at-
I wasn't
look at
being
Square.
able to comment on what he was saying.
Well, look at Square. Square is
I'm just hoping they
before
yeah.
Square really only did for PS2 because PS2 was like their main thing, and people were like, and they were
Yeah.
actually exclusive, but because they won them from N64 because they wanted to do their card stuff and. Like Square and Sony had a really good relationship, and back then when things weren't costing $8 billion to make a game,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was fine. Then when the 360 PS3 came out, and like the lines were drawn,
Yeah.
Sony started developing for both of them and computer. Like Deus Ex is a computer game too.
Yeah.
Human Revolution came out for computer.
Yeah.
Mainly because Square was losing their shirt because a lot of their games were like look at Final Fantasy 13. It's
They
all
take
our-
forever to make.
all
they
our
cost so much
budget.
money.
We spent 7 years to make really good graphics. Apparently nobody wanted to buy our movie.
Yeah.
They wanted to play a game. No one wanted to buy our movie. So
Alright.
with that mindset, Square can't really afford to just give for one system unless, like, if they're like, hey Sony, do you want to give us like $30 billion to just make games for your console? Sony's like, look, I don't have that kind of money either.
Yeah.
Like we just lost our shit to Xbox. We may be recouping now, but we can't afford to just make like that sort of commitment. And I think that's where a lot of the games are going now. Unless you're Sony Online or Microsoft Development, that's the only way you're getting exclusives because everyone else needs to have them out on every available platform
That's so sad.
just to make money again.
I
And
find
that's
that
the
sad.
thing. It's a way what the industry's going. It doesn't like Witcher 2. 2 goats and 4 guys from Poland made Witcher 2. That happened. That's a game that's long. It's engrossing. It's looks
Beautiful,
really.
yeah.
It looks
Poland
really
doesn't
good.
launch Xbox One, but it actually
No.
creates Witcher. You said right?
No, Witcher
Yeah,
2
Witcher.
is a really long game, fully
Yeah.
voice acted, very beautiful, just really engrossing RPG that was made by like 4 people in Poland.
Yeah.
Whereas like you get everything else comes out nowadays, and it's like, well, like BioShock Infinite, they're talking about like $100,000 marketing campaign, like
All these people working
all
on
the
it.
stuff,
And
like
look
all the
at-
studios, and like especially Assassin's Creed's, where they have
The,
like every Ubisoft studio in America, or not America, like in the world, like
It's
Ubisoft
actually-
Montreal, Ubisoft
They're
Canada.
focusing
That's a good
everything
point.
on
Even
this one
even
thing.
marketing, they're putting a lot of money into. Because look at like Halo 4 had that David Fincher directed
Yeah.
commercial, and
But
the
to
new,
be fair, do
the
you
new
need
okay
a
Destiny,
David Fincher
Destiny, a game
commercial?
that we don't even know when it's coming out. Sometime next year, Destiny has that commercial directed by Jon Favreau that airs on TV right now, with
How much money
Giancarlo Esposito in it.
And did
I
they
it's
need
like
that?
what?
I've seen that trailer.
And so, well, no, that's another thing. Like people bitch about like the rising cost of making games, and when you look at the advertising budget, you're like, you don't need that. Do you really need to drop like
It's
a couple hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a commercial?
it's crazy.
I remember the commercial back when I was a kid for Final Fantasy 3.
I remember the 7 commercial. I don't remember 3
Well, I remember the Final
or
Fantasy
6.
commercial.
We're talking about
It was
6.
pretty
talking
much, it was a
about
Mog sitting in like a chair, but you never saw the Mog. It was more like monsters
I
area,
didn't know it was
area
Mog.
like the room. There was like a
Moogle?
table.
Moogle.
Moogle.
The
Sorry,
Moogle?
Moogle.
How do you
Was it actually Mog or was it a
It
Moogle?
was a Moogle. It had the little thing came off the bottom top. Sorry, it was a Moogle.
Uh,
But it was a Moogle sitting at a table.
Turkish bathhouse?
And you never saw him till the end when a bunch of monsters kept entering and like, dead, or gone. And then at the end you saw the Moogle when he finally accepted one of the monsters to be in the game or some shit like that.
Kupo.
Yeah.
All right, weird.
And
Kupo.
that I remember, like, they didn't like go overboard with that.
All right. Well, no, and they don't need to. And
They
I
don't
think
need to.
like, the advertising budget.
If you're a gamer,
advertising in general
you're
has just
gonna
gotten
know.
way too out of hand. I think in the games.
Yeah, 'cause
Like,
most people don't
real-
even watch commercials anymore.
Real expensive,
There's that too.
yeah. Real expensive trailers on TV aren't gonna sell games.
You
Well,
just
here's the
you just said
as
you've never
well.
seen the Destiny trailer.
Yeah,
Or
here's the
commercial or
thing.
whatever.
Here's the thing that the gaming industry is missing right now. If you make an interesting game
On
that's
TV, that's
cool,
it.
people will find out about it and buy it. You don't need to fucking
Yeah, I have my own problem
sell.
with Destiny. So
You don't
we'll
have
get to that
to
when we
make
talk about
John Favreau give you a
That's-
commercial. You don't need fucking.
Just look at Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Minecraft have an advertising budget? They did not.
Now they probably
You know what I got into my?
They do.
You know what I got into
You
my?
know how they got that? Because they were that good.
I
at
played the
game.
demo, and I was surprised about.
Yeah, there's a lot
it in
of
general.
numbers recently that say that when you put out a demo for your game, it doesn't sell as good.
Minecraft.
Well, the problem
did
is
well
don't
then.
make a shitty game.
There you
Put
go.
out a demo.
Yeah,
That's
don't make a
the-
shitty game.
I think that's
They're
the,
like, oh, we
just
gotta put the good parts of the demo. No, the game itself.
I always
should
hate
be
the
okay.
demos that show
Okay.
up like halfway through the game where like, here's where all the exciting stuff happens.
Like here, we have to skip ahead to like why do you have
Alright.
to skip ahead?
If we showed you the plot, you might get bogged down.
We talked a lot about advertising.
All right.
Moving on.
Anyway, what's
Alright, moving on to the biggest franchise in gaming. Call of
Oh.
Duty.
The biggest franchise in
Is this the beginning of the end of Call of Duty and its popularity? Because really, I didn't hear too much about Call of Duty at all at this E3.
They have, it's Call of Doggy now. I don't know
Call
if
of
you got the
Doggy,
memo. They have a dog.
but I don't hear
Dude.
anyone talking about this game.
Brandon.
And I understand
Dog.
that. I understand there's
Dog.
dogs in it.
Oh, right, right,
Peter,
right.
Peter
Also,
Molyneux
sorry.
would be proud.
What do you mean you haven't heard all the things of the game? You know what people are gonna do when they get it.
No, but I mean that's
Yell
the
out
thing.
and have a dog.
They're gonna play
Nobody,
online. That's
nobody
it.
seems
They're gonna play-
excited for it. Now, granted, these are the hardcore, the press, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you do still. I'm sure it'll still sell hundreds of millions of copies or whatever. I'm sure you'll still get guys who all they do is go and buy their, Call of Duty for their 360 and play it online, and that's all they do. I'm sure we will still get that. But I'm just noticing that, you at least would hear about Call of Duty at at E3, even when like the last couple of years, you would still see a new gameplay demo, or you would still hear people saying, "Hey, that looks pretty cool. It looks like more Call of Duty, but there's, it looks pretty good."
Can I just say, Call of Duty is one of those games that they just kind of do where it's like, oh, they're making a new Call of Duty game. It's
Someone
something
needs to pay
online.
their rent.
All right, that's what's gonna happen. People are gonna be playing it mainly online.
And
Yeah.
they weren't.
I've talked to people who never played the campaign, only played the online.
Yeah, but
That's
they weren't
what's
even
fun.
they weren't even at Microsoft's press conference. Like they didn't play or show anything for Call of Duty Ghosts at the press conference. So then normally every year Microsoft will have, here's the new Call of Duty.
Dude,
I
they
like
got
to
the dog.
I like to think they
They did that at the
realized.
thing that, that everybody hated.
I like to think that they did that. They knew like everyone knows.
They did
what
do the
need to know
dog.
about. Yeah.
But we normally
Like
see
campaign has a
gameplay.
dog. It takes post.
We still haven't seen gameplay.
No,
We
and,
only see
and
gameplay.
I think you're.
It doesn't matter.
I think
It's
you're
gonna
kinda
sell.
wrong here.
It's got name recognition.
I also find that pretty much
People are gonna buy it.
universally everyone keeps saying that Battlefield 4 looks better than Ghosts.
But all the same,
And I agree with that.
we're
but-
still gonna get the Call of Duty every other year. That's
Oh, every year, yeah.
Well, yeah, you got like two different companies.
Until
Like, coming
until
out
they
with-
start failing, yes, of course.
I think we're a ways away.
Oh yeah, we're a ways away, but I think it'll happen.
Do you,
Eventually.
if you
I
think,
everything
are you
comes
saying
and
it's
goes.
starting now? Like this
Everything-
is.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is this the beginning of the downfall?
Like
Like,
a
is this,
fizzle?
is this,
Yeah.
is this the end of
I
it
agree
where it's
with
going to
you.
start
I
turning
can see
now?
that.
Yeah.
I kind of get that feeling from
Probably.
this year's
Probably.
convention. I get that feeling. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
interesting.
It'll be a long death
Yeah.
wail.
People will hold on to it
Yeah.
and like claim that it's the greatest game
Yeah,
ever,
that's gonna happen.
but it's not.
I mean, they have dogs now, so obviously
Yeah.
I want to think that
they have
people are going
full
to.
jackets on.
I want to think that people are going to get much more engrossed in other things and stop, doing so much Call of Duty.
No,
You know.
like I don't think most like people will just stop playing games altogether. Probably.
So, anyways,
As sad as it is.
moving on. Another thing, there was quite a bit of stuff that I noticed for the systems we have now. Granted, the headline, the big thing that everyone's talking about is PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the games that are for that. But we had several games. Murdered Soul, whatever. Soul.
Murdered
The
Souls,
detective
the
ghost
detective
game or
game.
whatever. The LA Noir meets.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. That's
Murdered soul.
Was it Soul Sacrifice?
Soul
It was.
Sacrifice.
It was Murdered Soul Sacrifice. It's basically LA Noir.
I like how you wrote Murdered
Ghosts.
SS.
It's like LA Noir with ghosts. It looks awesome, but it's for 360 and PS3 and PC and you know what I mean, like it's stuff we have now, but it looks awesome, and there is still life on those systems. I find it
like
interesting.
good to take
Why
this
so
out.
many jumped to that game?
360,
Where-
because I'm talking about games that are still on the current gen, but are shown a lot and people are liking and interested in and stuff like that.
Where did it
No, just kind of like you.
Xbox 360 announced that they're gonna have World of Tanks, so you can, people who care about that.
If you haven't,
Hey, maybe we'll care
If
about
you're
that.
not already playing it on the computer,
I know,
you
I
probably don't care.
I know, but you
Then-
might, and it's a free-to-play entry for Microsoft.
If
and
they're
we just
trying to
said how
make-
Sony has much more of the free-to-play
If
stuff.
they're trying to
so-
make a tank commander game
No,
where
it's-
you're like a team of people working a tank,
No, yeah,
No.
one person
it's
driving,
not.
one person shooting, yada yada.
it's
spotter.
like a free to play tank.
That-
It's like Twisted Metal, except for all the cars are tanks.
It's been out on the PC for
Yeah.
free for.
Alright, that
Yeah.
sounds.
I don't want to say.
That's
Anyways,
bad, I don't know.
You got Two Souls, the Quantic Dream game that Sony has exclusivity for, so it's a PlayStation 3 game.
In Quantic Dream.
Looks great, and dude, the graphics on that game look pretty amazing. For
They're really rendered
the
nice.
fact that no,
Quantum-
I mean like the faces and everything, not the
Oh.
asses.
Is that the game about the whole time continuum?
No.
thing, or, like,
This is the problem. Everything is quantum.
that's Quantum Break, isn't it?
Quantum Break
Yeah.
is the FMV.
This is Quantum
This
Soul.
is the
glorious-
studio. No, this is Two Souls. The studio was Quantic Dream.
Quantum Break is the glorious
Quantic,
return to
not
FMV
Quantum.
games that we've needed
No, Quantic.
since Sega CD went.
Quantic Dream is David Cage. It's the guys that did Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain.
I
Those
played
guys.
Daniel
Those,
Craig.
Heavy Rain is
those,
my favorite
those
one.
two awesome games.
Chubby
But
Rain is
anyways,
favorite.
Two Souls looks great, and it's PlayStation 3. So there's still support there. Even Titanfall, which everyone was going crazy for this year, it's for 360. you don't have to get it for an Xbox One. You can get it for 360. I don't know how that'll work or how it'll look or anything like that, but
Connect only.
it'll be there. So I think people are overlooking the fact that
No,
there are
there's-
still games coming out.
this
There's still
gen's-
Grand Theft Auto 5 coming later this year. There's still versions of these games. We talked about like Watch Dogs and stuff. Watch Dogs will have a current gen version, and
we
know,
talk about
we talked about Call of Duty that'll have a current gen, and Battlefield will have current. A lot of these games are going to be for everything. So even if you don't want to shell out the cash this year,
I
you
think
have a lot of stuff to play.
I
still.
think this year we're gonna see, and probably up until we'll say 12 months.
fall of next year.
We'll say 12 months to this day. I say that there's still gonna be a lot of games coming out for both systems.
for both. Yeah, I think.
I don't think we're
that-
gonna they're gonna phase out 360.
I think the major
PS3.
things will still be both.
I think it'll take about a year.
The Call of Duty,
Yeah,
the
maybe
Madden,
one
It's June 15th, so.
I think by the next year's summer we'll eventually start phasing out the current gen. But I think up until now the major
yeah, there'll start to
releases,
be a feeling. Of
we're gonna
phasing them out.
get both 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4
All right.
releases. Outside of the exclusives, we're gonna see multiple releases.
All right, and then
What about
last
third-party
thing,
stuff?
I want to talk about third-party stuff. We kind of talked about it a little bit with the PlayStation 4 and how they were leaning towards that direction or whatever. But I wanted to talk about was the kind of feeling I got from this year's E3 was third-party stuff looked a lot cooler than first-party stuff. So your exclusives did not look as cool as the games that are on every system.
That's true.
And I understand that there's a lot more of every system games. Third-party, nothing is exclusive anymore. But a lot of stuff looked much better to me. I thought Need for Speed Rivals and the Crew looked a lot better than Forza and Drive Club. And it's like, if
But Forza had
if
Clone
these are the
Racers.
thing- if
Clone
these-
Racers.
Yes, Drivatar. I forgot about Drivatar.
How do you forget about Drive?
Drivatar.
Drivatar.
Kids going, what the fuck is Drivatar?
Don't ask.
But anyways,
Sounds like a half man, half car.
that's not what it is. That's Loco
That
Cycle.
would be rad if
But
that was
anyway,
real.
that would
Just
be
saying.
rad.
It's Loco Cycle.
It's Cloud
Twisted Pixel
Racers.
game. Anyways,
Cloud Racers.
I'm saying,
Is it Pod Racers?
Cloud.
and I think it's a lot of this year of the studios are taking more risks when they're third party because they know they're going to be in all systems. So if they get something that people want to play, they're going to get a lot more sales than something that's only for one system. So they're taking a few more risks, they're taking a few more chances, they're doing some interesting stuff, trying to open things up. While the first party, they have new systems and they're kind of playing it safe. Like
Forza
"Oh,
6.
let's come out with another sequel to something and let's have the
Call
same
of Duty.
plain things. Yeah, well, Call of Duty isn't exclusive, but I'm saying it's not a first party game. So I mean, I just noticed that third party is kind of working their way up to being the thing that everybody wants to play is third party games. So
Well, as we get less and less exclusives, yeah, they're gonna dominate the market.
is there anything anyone else noticed or wanted to bring up or anything like that?
About what?
thing?
They haven't done E3.
You didn't watch it?
Games.
They didn't watch it at all. I told you this.
Okay.
My reactions are
No.
fresh and new to their information.
I think we've covered.
That's the people who didn't
broad
see
swath of
E3.
it.
I did want to